Wow. Let me just first give honor and praise to God just for the privilege of being here before you all this evening. I am just so humbled. I am truly humbled by your presence. I mean, some of you know me. You're my neighbors. You're my colleagues. You're my friends. You're my family. You're my associates. You've stood with me through thick and thin. But what some of you don't know is that I actually came here as a teenager from Trevose, Pennsylvania. We like to call it Philadelphia. But I came here to attend one of the greatest institutions that I know, and that's Morgan State University. Look, I was a cheerleader, and I'm going to be the greatest cheerleader this city has ever had. I want you all to know me. I want you to really know me. I was a WEAA, you remember WEAA, back in the day, when I was a news anchor under Kwesi Mfume. He was our program director. I was a community developer, and some of you may remember Sam Daniels at SIBO when we were trying to craft and build businesses in our community. I was the director of a citizens involvement program. I don't know if many of you know this, but it was under William Donald Schaefer, and we were into developing crime prevention programs for communities. And we used to make people engrave their properties. Anybody remember those engravers, so that if your property got stolen, we hoped that you could get it back? I was the only independent editor that the city paper, that the Baltimore Sun and the Afro-American newspaper ever had. Many of you remember those inserts. You know, what I was really trying to do was bridge the gap between the black and white community, because I knew that if we could bridge that gap and bring us closer together, we would socially, economically, and politically. I think I was able to achieve just a little bit of that. But I want you to know that what I enjoy most is being a public servant. For over a decade, I've been your council person, I've been a delegate, I've been a state senator. I remember being a city council person, really enjoying it. You all remember those big fish all around the city? Yes. What people don't know about those fish that I forced the city to do was that it raised $1 million. $1 million to wire the classrooms of our students and to provide instruments for our children. I know y'all know about the Baltimore Marathon that I started some years ago, over a decade now, where 20,000 people come to our city, but more importantly, it has over a $28 million impact on the city, giving hundreds of thousands of dollars to community organizations. And one of the things that I really wanted to tackle as a city council person was the 38% adult illiteracy rate that exists in this city. And so I started the 24-hour readathon, the Need to Read campaign. And I think it helped some people, but certainly not enough. I am so passionate about Baltimore. I love this city. I love its people. I mean, I actually go to bed at night just thinking about how to fix this city, how to make it the best city that it can be. I am so sickened at the reality that we are about to lose another generation of young people to crime, gangs, and violence. I am shattered by the thought of losing a senior citizen because we have not created for our seniors, and we talked about this, didn't we, seniors? Yes. Enough senior living communities where they can be safe and enjoy a better quality of life. That's what's happening in other jurisdictions around us. I am concerned about the lack of attention on making our city more community-focused and not developer-driven. A city where we provide millions of dollars in tax breaks for developers and not enough incentives for those of us who continue to live and invest here. I don't want you all to get me wrong, because I'm a business person. I want to build our city. But we have got to balance what we do downtown in our neighborhoods. Yes. The reality is that our city is shrinking. we continue to lose population, which means that current leadership will continue to command from you and demand from you more for less. Only in Baltimore do we pay twice the property tax than any other jurisdiction in this state. Only in this city do we pay a bottle tax. And only in Baltimore are we paying the highest for water. It makes no sense when we provide the water for other jurisdictions around us. It's time to stop, Baltimore, because guess what? With me, we can do better. We can do better, Baltimore. Let me just talk a minute about our young people. They must be our top priority. We have to turn this culture of violence that permeates our communities around. That means we have to engage our parents to provide them with the tools they need to get involved in their children's lives. Baltimore has the highest unemployment rate of the largest jurisdictions in this state. So I will and we must call on philanthropic and business leaders to help us craft a strategy that provides work opportunities for all our residents so that we can take care and parents can take care of their families. We can do better. We must do better. If we're going to save this generation and the next from a life of crime and poverty. If we're going to break this cycle of violence, we need new answers. It's not enough just to be tough on crime. We have to be smart, smarter. We will take a more community approach to crime prevention by engaging our police, our state's attorney's office, community, and faith leaders. We will light our streets and neighborhoods to make them more walkable, livable. I want you to know that I am very, very clear about the vision for our city. I have spent time with our youth, our community leaders, our business leaders, our faith leaders, and some of you. I have studied, and people who know me know, Catherine Pugh will study everything to the nth degree. I have studied the 10 fastest growing cities in this nation and the shrinking ones. And I am clear, we cannot continue to go in the direction we are currently headed. As I mentioned to you earlier, we are about to lose another generation of young people to crime, drugs, and gang violence. We continue to lose population and neighborhoods are still plagued with too many boarded up houses. And believe it or not, little attention is being paid to the empty houses in our neighborhoods. Just the other day, Betty and I walked through Ashburton, and you all know Ashburton is supposed to be, some people call us working class, some people call us middle class, some folks think they're upper class, whatever. What we did was we walked just in a 3-block radius, and guess what? We counted 12 empty houses. Many of our seniors are living in high-rise buildings, and that really frightens me. When I think about if anything were to happen, a fire, the elevator were to break down, how do they get out? It concerns me. I went to a senior living community the other day, and I had to go up on the top floor to visit a woman who was 98 years old. It scared me. I cried when I left. It scared me. We can do better. This is an opportunity for us in this city when you talk about over 40,000 boarded up units to reconfigure our city, to create senior living communities more like the ones in our surrounding counties that offer our seniors a better quality of life. Baltimore, we can do better. In this state, we are the jurisdiction, as I pointed out to you, with the highest unemployment rate, and yet we don't demand that when the city is letting contracts, that they hire our residents. As your next mayor, Baltimore, I will, because we can do better. And I will work with the community to develop a strategy for employing our ex-offenders, with 9,000 of them returning to our city every year. Statistics will tell you that high unemployment rates stimulate high crime rates. We can't arrest our way out of our problems. There aren't enough jails to do that. Baltimore, I have sat and talked with juvenile experts. I have examined juvenile and ex-offender programs in other cities that are working, that have contributed to the reduction of crime, and that have aided in the restoration of this segment of our population to wholeness, so they become productive members of our society. We can implement those kinds of programs here, but you need to elect me. Fails to understand is what's really going on with our young people. I'm talking about the ones standing on our corners. They fail to understand that many of them are homeless. Some are supporting families. Some are supporting drug-addicted parents while raising their brothers and sisters. And as your next mayor, I will work with the faith-based business, philanthropic communities, anybody, everybody, lottie-dottie, and whoever, to create a year-round paid internship program that will allow our young people who want and need to work, and they can do this. They can work a half a day and go to school a half a day. And what I want you to understand is I'm not talking about solutions that I don't know about. See, I was in Distributive Education Clubs of America, and Dr. Craig, who is here, can tell you about that. And because, see, my father, I'm one of 7 children, and my father used to give us our $100 for our school clothes. And I would never forget, I was in the 9th grade, and my dad handed me $100, and he said, "Go get your school clothes." And I looked at him, I said, "Well, what's this going to do for me? I need more than this. This is not going to get but a few outfits." And he said, "Well, you need a job." And my dad was real clear. We didn't have to work. And my brother bought his 2 pair of khakis and his, brogans, and a couple pair of shirts, and he was fine. But I went to work. I discovered Distributive Education Clubs of America. So I wasn't into sports back then. I wasn't into running like I am now. I was into working. And there are young people standing on the corners of our streets that want to work. I'm talking about offering real solutions to the emotional and social problems facing our children. And I want to thank you, Hathaway Farabee, for your commitment to our children. And I look forward to growing our partnership. As your next mayor, I am proposing to cut the property tax in half over the next 4 years. And I want to thank you, Scott Donahoe, for chairing that effort, and Dorothy Brunson for joining him, because they can both tell you. Because with me, they've done the research. Again, we've studied the 10 fastest growing cities in America, and what we've learned is that lining their property taxes with the surrounding jurisdiction kept them competitive. We need to do the same. We've got to do this. As your next mayor, because see, people talk about cutting property taxes, and people say, "Well, what you going to do about the revenue? How you going to make this happen?" And I'm saying, people don't know this. Just in Baltimore, we have 10 colleges and universities. And I'm not talking about Towson and University of Maryland, down on the Eastern Shore and all those other institutions. I'm talking about right here in Baltimore. We have 10 colleges and universities. And what happens is that most of those students leaving those colleges and institutions, they don't end up living here. They live in the surrounding counties. They live in Washington, D.C. And so what I want to offer to them is the same incentives that we offer police and firemen and teachers. Live, work, get married, love, and stay in Baltimore. As your next mayor, I will focus on growing our city's population. Nobody's done it. Nobody's done it. I'm telling you that by the year 2020, I want to add another 80,000 people to our population so that when we do redistricting in 2020, we will not lose another delegation. We will be gaining another delegation. I want what you want. I want a livable and productive city. And that begins with having right leadership in place. Leadership that understands that we don't cut youth programs, we add to them. We make sure that our schools have the resources to deal with the needs of our students, that our parents have the resources to deal with their children. We will turn the concept that it takes a village to raise a child into reality, and everybody has a role to play. All you have to do, Baltimore, is just spend one day in our inner city neighborhoods, and you know you've got a big job ahead of you. Ride through parts of East Baltimore. Come down Pennsylvania Avenue. I have. Talk with our young people. I'm talking about the ones standing on the street corners, and see the hopelessness in their eyes. Many feel they don't have a chance, and many don't even expect to live past the age of 24. They think that's getting old. Many don't even understand that there is a whole world out there beyond the 4-block radius that they choose to live and play in. Baltimore, we can do better. Baltimore, we don't need 4 years of maintaining. We need to push ahead. We can do better. We need someone who will drive this city towards its best. Baltimore needs a mayor, Catherine Pugh, who will bring all people together, empower families, help communities become a better place. A mayor who understands we've got to put our children first, not developers. A mayor who understands that we need fresh ideas. Baltimore needs a mayor with a proven record of success in creating opportunities in our communities. That's right. My plan for Baltimore will not pit developers against communities. It's a plan good for everyone. Communities, homeowners, and developers. It is the kind of approach we need more if we're going to move our city and our communities forward. I just want to say one final thing. Because as many of you know, this issue of paying our lead paint cases has weighed heavy, very heavy on my heart. So much so that in the General Assembly this year, I attempted to attach budget language that would forbid the city from building a youth jail. I wanted the city to prepare a plan for how they intend on paying these lead paint cases, for which they spent $4 million defending and lost, and have been ordered to pay $12 million in judgments. The city is right, I'm sure, that this is just the tip of the iceberg. But the fact of the matter is, the damage that lead paint has done to our children in the housing that we provided is unconscionable. Just ask the teachers who are confronted with these children every day, or the parents who labor with them, some violent, some with learning disabilities. We owe these families, and we must pay. We will, ladies and gentlemen, children, young folk, we will raise millions of dollars during this campaign, trying to be the next mayor. But what I want to do is pledge to you that every dollar left over from this race will go into the creation of an endowment fund to pay for the damage our city properties have done to our children. The first fundraiser I will hold after you elect me your mayor will be to raise money to endow this fund. I will again call on faith leaders, business people, philanthropic leaders, community folks, families. Help me meet our obligation to improve the lives of those children and those families that we have hurt. Unless you have a child who has been lead paint poisoned, you don't know the agony these parents and teachers endure. We can do better, Baltimore. We have to. We owe them. These are just a few of the ideas and visions I have for our city. And in the coming months, I look forward to talking to people across our city, in our communities, about my vision for a better Baltimore. But let me say to all of you this evening, I am so humbled by your presence, but I can't do this alone. This election is not about me or the mayor or the other candidates. It's about electing the right person to lead us. It's about the future of our communities. And the only way we get our city back on track is by empowering our communities and getting people involved. So let's do it. Let's start right now. Join this campaign. Help me spread the word. Sign up on our website. Pass out some signs. Wear a bumper sticker. But look, we want to make sure you place them on your car because we're not trying to waste them. We want people to see them. Make phone calls. Knock on doors. Give a few dollars. Walk with me. The only way we're going to create a community-driven city is making sure that we've got a community-driven campaign. Our young people deserve better. Our seniors want better. Our communities need better. And if we all work together, we will do better. We must. Thank you. And God bless.